Elisa, ARC nutritionist here. As isolation continues, it's becoming even more important that we make good food choices. We may seek comfort food and sugar, but those are the things that actually suppress our immune system. And they're certainly not helping with pandemic weight management. I think one of the benefits of this situation is we're doing a lot more cooking from scratch, and that's good. As ever, I encourage you to make half your plate vegetables, but this time we're moving to a different section of my plate. There are lots of great plant-based protein foods. I'm not really talking about Impossible Burgers and Beyond Meat. Tofu, beans, and lentils have much less fat and calories than typical animal protein sources like beef and pork. And nuts and seeds contain protein, fiber, and the healthy unsaturated types of fat, like omega-3s. Before we start, of course, we need to wash hands. Since I know you know how to do it, let's talk about when to do it. Obviously, before cooking, before eating, after handling raw meat, after using the bathroom, taking out the garbage, after touching pets, when you come home from being outside, but also pretty much any other time you think of it. By the way, just a side note, I know there's been a run on sanitizing products lately, and while disinfectants, wipes, and gels containing alcohol are all useful at getting rid of viruses, they are not quite as good as normal soap. Sanitizing gel is good as a backup, but basic hand washing should be your first choice. Now we're ready to cook our tofu crumbles. What are tofu crumbles, you ask? Well, they're a delicious substitute for meat in any number of dishes. I use them in tacos, on top of salads, over pasta, or even as a standalone snack. They're that good. I tried 2 different versions this time, but I'll just give you the basic recipe. And as usual, you can customize to your own taste. What you'll need for your tofu crumbles are tofu, drained, nutritional yeast, not to be confused with the kind you use to bake bread, olive oil, garlic powder, which I ran out of, so I substituted onion powder, and soy sauce. But first, a side note about sodium. I'm using the reduced sodium soy sauce. Note I said reduced, not low sodium. That's because soy sauce is naturally extremely high in sodium. The reduced version still has 440 milligrams per tablespoon. For context, in order to be considered low sodium, a food must have less than a third of that, 140 milligrams. I'm not saying don't use it, just be aware. The food label is full of useful facts. So here's the recipe. Basically, you just combine everything but the tofu in a big bowl. Then you crumble your tofu into it. You can use a spoon, fork, or even your clean hands. I don't mind telling you, there's something very therapeutic about squeezing tofu between your fingers. Mix it all together and spread it on a cookie sheet. Then bake it until it dries out a bit and gets a nice golden color. Research has linked tofu with its high levels of isoflavones to a lower risk of several diseases, including the big 3, cardiovascular disease, cancer, and diabetes. I've seen it available in the supermarkets. Look in the refrigerated section of your produce aisle, or sometimes they have a health food section. There's a shelf-stable version that's typically available online, but good luck finding that right now. So for online protein resources, I'm going to refer you to one of my favorites, nuts.com. In the days before the pandemic, you could order from them on a Sunday night and get a delivery person ringing your doorbell at 7 a.m. Monday morning. True story. These days, you might have to wait a bit longer, but they have lots of great protein foods, including nuts and seeds, beans, peas, and lentils, all at very reasonable prices. If you can't find what you need there, a friend of mine, thanks Amy, just recommended Superior Nuts, so you can check that out. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed my QED. Quick, easy, delicious. See you again soon.